John Stossel from the new television program on the Fox Business Network, Stossel. John, welcome to Free Talk Live.
Thank you.
Well, it's great
to be here.
It is great to have you here. I've been so excited about getting John Stossel on the air here on this program. So with no further ado, we only have you for a segment. I know our listeners have questions. They've sent them in via our Facebook profile for you. But just to start things out, let's tell people a little bit about who John Stossel is, in case they, for whatever reason, haven't seen you in your history of being on the air with ABC Television in 2020 and your various different specials that you've done over the years, and now, of course, over on the Fox Business Network. Who are you, John Stossel?
I'm a liberal reporter who woke up and saw the light and was educated by Reason magazine to libertarianism, and now I've quit ABC, where they didn't really want my reporting, and fortunately I have an hour show on Fox Business, actually on right now in the East, though many of your listeners don't get Fox Business, unfortunately, on their cable systems. But so now I get more airtime to do as much on liberty as I can.
I love it. I've seen the show a number of times, and I just saw the most recent episode, which you did actually, well, I guess not the one that's on tonight, but the one prior to, about what is a libertarian. And I thought it was absolutely outstanding, and I've enjoyed all of them. But one of the things I really like the most about it is that you actually get the audience to interact. So not only do you have the liberty-oriented talking head types on the program, but you're actually opening up the microphone to the audience, and in many cases getting some people who are not in agreement with you.
Well, most people probably are not in agreement with us. That's why you haven't filled up the Free State Project yet.
That much is true.
We're working on it.
Speaking of that, the Tea Parties are sweeping the nation. When you came on board the Liberty Movement back in the 70s or whatever it was, libertarianism was nothing but a mild anachronism. But now you see things like the Tea Parties sweeping the nation. Not to say that, I guess that's the question. A, what's the future of liberty? And B, Tea Parties, the new resurgence of liberty, or the contract with America bullcrap part 2?
Well, there was some good stuff in the contract with America.
They just didn't keep it.
I wouldn't dismiss all of it, but I don't know. I mean, I heard 2 million people participated in Tea Party events, which sounds good, except that there are 300 million Americans, so 2 million isn't that many. I don't know how many are really libertarian. I bet some of them would be offended if I suggest that they weren't entitled to their Medicare payment.
Mm-hmm.
But I sure as hell hope that they are libertarian, and I agree that there are more than when I first discovered it. And I think Glenn Beck has become a hero to the movement, and that he tirelessly, with his big audience, is talking these topics. Yeah, he's probably doing more good than anybody these days.
I think Glenn Beck is definitely coming along. I don't know him personally, but just from my observations of him over the years, having come up from living in Tampa, where he was on the air originally, and kind of hearing what he's saying these days, I wouldn't really call him a principled libertarian, but none of us were principled when we first started.
Well, I was, but I didn't really know what the principles were. I think he's certainly reading about it and learning the principles. So I don't know what he was like in Tampa. In his early days, I think he was wasted most of the time. But I think now he is serious about spreading the word and learning more about it.
So tell me a little bit more. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as am I, except I'm on once a week and he's on 5 million times a week.
But this is, I mean, Stossel has to be a real exciting time for you. I'm imagining you said, ABC wasn't really too pleased with your presentations. Is this, John, the show you've always wanted to do?
No. The show I always really wanted to do was what I was able to do at ABC some of the time, which was my hour specials, where I would get to work 4 months, 6 months on free speech, or how Washington only grows under both parties, or on the drug war, whatever it was, and travel around the world to produce these pieces. So I'm glad I have this nonprofit now, Stossel in the Classroom, that gets them into classrooms. The current show, ABC just didn't they wanted, if you watch 2020 now, it's every week it's some murder story. And my political stuff, I tried to get a Nightline, and they just had no interest. It didn't suit their politics. So I'm going to keep doing those now, but I think, and I'm going to do 4 produced hours a year for Fox, but my favorite is when I can really think about something. I like to read what other people have written and then carefully shoot the video and cut it so that the jokes work at exactly the right moment, rather than this uncontrolled live-to-tape stuff, which is my show. But aside from that, yes, this is my dream show.
That's great. And now you mentioned that it's not, the Fox Business Network isn't in necessarily every single market. I know it's on a lot of digital cable systems around. Are full episodes available on your website, johnstossel.com, or Fox News?
Or Hulu. I know some people watch it there, and I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know. No full episodes are available. I know that somebody posts them on YouTube in pieces.
Okay, good. And how do you feel about that?
I've seen them on Hulu.
I mean, how do you feel about people BitTorrenting John Stossel, Stossel, the new show, which is honestly how I got my hands on it?
I love it. To me, my goal is to get these ideas out. I think these ideas can save the world. They are so important. They are what brought people prosperity, and that's what lifted people out of the mud and misery of poverty. And it's an outrage that the morons in the mainstream media don't get this. And so anybody wants to steal my work and spread it around. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that because Fox is paying to put it on, and nobody should violate their copyright. But where it's legal, I just want the ideas out. Well, and Fox has been much more generous than ABC about, for example, allowing the Classroom Project to just give these to teachers.
We see it the same way, John, that if people are watching Stossel through whatever means, maybe it'll increase the likelihood they'll call their local cable system and say, hey, I want Fox Business. There's certainly that possibility. You know what? We're short on time. I want to make sure we get one question in from one of our listeners here over on our Facebook profile. Joshua writes, why does John still refer to himself as a libertarian and not a voluntarist?
From my last show, a voluntarist. God, that sounds even sillier than libertarian. Classical liberal. A lot of people suggested other titles because people didn't know what libertarian meant when I went around Times Square asking people. And those people, I think, are above average income because many were tourists who were able to travel.
I'm looking forward to seeing that episode because you asked people, well, what word should we use as opposed to libertarian? And you're taking suggestions, johnstossel.com. John, I appreciate you hanging on here and talking with us tonight. I want to put you on hold just to talk to you off the air here for a little bit. We're opening the phones up. You can call in about anything at 800-259-9231. Thank you to John Stossel here. More Free Talk Live in moments. Become a Free Talk Live amplifier for just $3 per month. You'll get perks, and you'll help us free more minds worldwide. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.